Okay, so welcome, Louise Matson, Director of the Division of Indian Works. For this session, we're going to talk about the community-based learning research paper, and we have Lynn and perhaps other students joining us. And so, Lynn, the assignment is listed on the D2L site. You can find it there, and you can certainly talk to me about this. It is not due until sometime in November. I'd have to check the date, but the date's all in the syllabus. And so, anyway, I'm going to have Louise introduce herself and talk about her programs. But actually, one thing first, Lynn, feel free to interject with questions, because with this paper, I want you to write about the Division of Indian Works and one of their programs. And Louise will explain what the programs are. But if you're interested in a particular program, ask about that and know that you have to connect it to some sort of research, some sort of issue in the American Indian community. You know, it might be about after-school programs and education, truancy. It could be any number of things. But I think I've said enough. So Louise, would you please introduce yourself? Now, we don't hear you talking, so.
I see that. I see. Okay. I unmuted. Okay. So, Uju, Louise Matson, Indigenous Cause, Makwan Dunam, Gawa Baba Kinikag, and Dunjaba. My name is Louise Matson. I'm Bear Clan from the White Earth Nation, and I am Executive Director at the Division of Indian Work here in South Minneapolis. I'm also a lifelong Southsider, so I've never lived on my reservation. Grew up, raised, and still live in South Minneapolis. And I'm also a multiracial member of our community. So my mom is Norwegian and my dad's enrolled at White Earth. So I always put myself in context, and I'm not dissimilar to the folks that we serve here at DIW, very urban, very multiracial and multi-tribe. So Division of Indian Work has been around for over 70 years, and we are located kind of in the heart of the American Indian community in Minneapolis. So we're in Phillips Powderhorn neighborhood on Lake Street. So there's a lot of agencies like in the Franklin, Hiawatha, Lake Street, Nicollet corridor, and a little spread out. A lot of schools and agencies, clinics. There's also a Little Earth of United Tribes housing project. So we have a high concentration of Native folks around here. And so DIW, we have 4 program areas, kind of 4 umbrellas, and within them, a lot of different projects. We have almost now, Pauline, 50 people working at DIW.
Amazing.
So, yeah, we've really grown a lot, and we've grown a lot in maternal health in particular. But I guess our first kind of program area, and underneath it are many projects, it's what we call health services. So that's where our food shelf resides. So we're trying to, feed people, keep them healthy, try to give people culturally specific food when we can, like wild rice, and of course, healthy fresh vegetables. That's the reason DIW started back in the 50s, was as a food shelf. We still have our food shelf. And then other projects within health services include our elders project. So we have grandparents raising grandchildren, and then elders services. So the grandparents raising grandchildren is one of our newest programs. And that's because we're seeing a lot more grandparents taking care of their kids, primarily because of the opioid epidemic we're having in this country. It's really impacting our community very hard, but it's impacting all communities hard. We also have a newer program, dementia program for American Indian elders. We're working, there's not a lot out there. I think I've learned that Red Lake is doing some work, but in the urban areas, like trying to support our elders that might be suffering from dementia. That's a brand new program. We also have a program called Live It, and that's teen pregnancy prevention and sex education, and it's culturally based.
I'm sorry, Live It?
Live it, like live it, live your culture, live your life.
Yeah.
So that's a train the trainer model. And we have a staff person that goes out and trains in communities and reservations all across Minnesota. And then they implement the curriculum. And it's adaptable because, we're so diverse tribally, not everybody has the same cultural practices, but it's designed to have you incorporate your cultural practices. You talk about stages of life and ceremonies and things like that around parenthood and motherhood and fatherhood. And then we also have women of traditional birthing. It's kind of fallen in that category, which is a weekly parenting class at Division of Indian Work, and it's for young mothers, and they're pregnant or expecting, or pregnant or just had baby, so new moms, and they get a variety of educational things like car seat training, but they also get cultural things like how to make a moss bag. And so that's kind of that one umbrella program, health services.
Louise, what did you say? Some sort of bag?
A moss bag. It's kind of like a little swaddling. So we used to traditionally have a little bag that you would put babies in, or it's cloth, and it would line it with moss. So people call it a moss bag, even though it's not made, I don't see anybody making them with moss anymore, but it's kind of like it's just like a little baby bag, I guess is the best way to explain it.
So you put the baby in,
put the baby in the bag. Almost, you see people
like
wrap
papoose.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
okay.
yeah, or in a cradle board, or you see those little when they swaddle babies, they look like a baby burrito.
Yeah,
like it's similar to that, but I don't think it's as tight. I don't know. I have never made one, but they'll do cultural things like that with moms. And again, trying to be, it's hard because we're so tribally diverse, but we end up doing a lot of Ojibwe and Dakota practices because the majority of the natives here are Ojibwe or Anishinaabe, and then we're in Dakota homeland, but there's people that come from all over and do things. Just trying to be inclusive. So then that's our health services. So our program, then we have youth leadership development umbrella, and that's serving youth ages 7 to 17. And so we right now are in our academics and activities program, which means we're picking up the kids after school and serving them dinner and doing tutoring, homework help, cultural activities, Monday through Thursday nights here at DIW. And then during the day when it's a school release day. In the summer, they switch to the Indigenous Scholars Program, and that's like a day camp, and they just keep them all day, emphasis on literacy, and they've been doing theater camps too. That's kind of that program. They also have a Young Women's Society that really focuses on missing and murdered Indigenous relative issues, and they have a podcast, Sacred Sisters, that they've been working on, and that's teenage girls and then young adult women who have aged out of the program but still want to be involved, that still want to,
I'm sorry,
the podcast is called Sacred Sisters. That would be an interesting research topic, just all we have the first office for missing and murdered Indigenous women and or relatives, I think they call it now, I think in the country, don't we, Pauline?
You tell me. And
I believe so. I believe that happened here in Minnesota.
Okay, so it's not part of DIW, but it's in the Twin Cities Indian Organization.
It's an office. It's a state office. And so there's a lot of people that do work on MMIW, like Minnesota Sexual Assault Coalition, a lot of Minnesota Indian Women's Resource, and we're involved in the issue through our Young Women's Society. Okay. So by that, they'll go, we have a lot of rallies. There was a lot of lobbying to create the office, a lot of work to try to bring attention to that fact. A lot of the, we have high rates of Native women going missing and just not a lot of attention. If you remember when a couple years ago, that young woman, Gabby Petito, I think I'm saying her name right.
Right.
I mean, it was all over the news and everybody saw it. She was a young, pretty blonde woman. She got a lot of attention. That happens almost
And I
every.
just, yeah, I mean, it happens within our community too,
Mhm.
that we have a lot of kids missing. We don't see them until you go to Walmart and it's on the wall. It's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And so,
I
yeah.
think they might be
Like-
starting an office for missing and murdered African American relatives too. But yeah, it just doesn't get the attention that gets. And so trying to raise that awareness, like for community members. So, there's always like on Valentine's Day, a big parade, and just a lot of vocal activity around just even knowing about it, or if somebody does go missing, getting the kind of attention like that young woman got. And no, like, again, no disrespect to her and her family, but it was pretty clear that this, the difference. So our youth are into that advocating for that. Our young women are. We're trying to start up. Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I might, and I would look into that too, but I have some questions because I do work. First, I teach children's ministry, so my focus is a lot to do with the kids. And so I even work in Minneapolis Public Schools over north, at Lucy Laney. So,
Okay.
So I know your program is over south. Do you have any programs or anything over north that help with the students, the indigenous students at over north?
There's not a lot of services on the north side for Native people, even though we have a lot of Native people and also multiracial Native people on the north side. The agency that was operating over there was Upper Midwest Indian Center, but I don't know much of what they're doing. They used to have a charter school for Directions, but that closed a while ago. And then I'm just not sure what services they are. They don't, I don't know if they're really doing anything, to be honest. I haven't heard anything, or I don't see the staff out around doing things. But I think probably where the north side kids get the most help is through their school, through the Indian Education Department, because there are Native kids at all schools, and so they're trying to help. But there's also attention to kids that are at best practice and pathway sites. So like Northeast Middle School, Sanford Middle School, and then South High School, and now Edison High School.
Right, so there's a lot. I noticed that there's a lot of focus on South Side. So it's always South Side gets all the attention and nothing for our North Side kids.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, and that's kind of, I get a lot of calls, and I also get a lot of calls from people, like a lot of people moved out to first string suburbs just to get out of the city and get in, maybe where they feel it's safer for their kids. But there's nothing, I mean, I'm always like, look to your Indian Education Department at your school. That's going to be your best resource, because most of like the resources for Native people are here, because that's where most of the Native people are.
Right.
But they're all over too.
I know there was Anishinaabe, and I worked out of Anishinaabe several years ago.
Anishinaabe, it's still there. And, there's the immersion school is there, but, like you said, there's we're all over, but I think it's limited capacity too. So I think it's really kind of, that might be good to look into, like, what's going on in Upper Midwest and what's going on the north side. Because that's really a void if they're closed down. And I don't know, Pauline, if you've heard anything about what's going on in Upper Midwest. I haven't.
No, I haven't. Gert Buckanaga's been in the hospital or in a rehab place for quite a while. I'm not sure if her son Ron is leading anything there.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Is the Upper Midwest, is that building off of Broadway?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. I pass it a lot. So
yeah, it's right by the Davis Center. And and so the woman who ran it, her name was Gertrude Buckanaga. And and she's an elder. And I think that I saw her maybe a year ago. She came to a meeting, but I haven't seen her Ron, her son, who was also, I thought, ran the charter school, but when they lost their sponsorship, then they closed down, and then I haven't seen him. So there are all these different meetings that happen, like Metropolitan Urban Indian Directors Meeting, Phillips Indian Educators, all kinds of things. And sorry, I'm turning my phone down. So I haven't seen them. So I would, that's a good question. I don't think they're totally closed down, but I just don't see anything.
Yeah, I know our school, Lucy Laney, they will do things, I know, in November to help recognize our Native students and their families. And they had programs. We just had last year, near the end of school, a hoop dancer come in.
Oh, nice. Nice.
And it was yeah, so I've been wanting to see a hoop dancer for a long time. So
Nice.
that actually happened, and the kids loved it. So
good.
Actually, it was a woman who did it.
What?
It was a woman who did it.
Oh, okay. That's pretty cool.
It was. So I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just, and so also in our youth leadership program, there's Be at School, they're attendance liaisons.
What is it?
It's called Be at School. Like B,
I'm sorry.
with the BE and then with the at school. So be at school. Like
be at school.
Yeah, you need to be at school. But that directly works with their attendance referrals. So students that have like 6 unexcused referrals, or the younger kids is a referral, and because that can become a child protection issue, because kids under the age of 12, the county looks at it like that's a parental responsibility. Once they get older, as we know it, they can.
It's truancy. I used to do attendance, the Office of Student Attendance for Minneapolis for 4 years. So yeah, it's at neglect from 11 years old and down.
Yeah,
because they can't get to school by themselves. So
right. So that's kind of that second umbrella, YLDP. So we had the Healing Spirit, then we had Health Services, then we had Youth Leadership Development, and our third program umbrella is Healing Spirit. And there's basically 2 projects within that area. One is our boys' home. So we have a home by Roosevelt High School for American Indian boys, and they're boys that are in foster care. Most of them have had their parental rights terminated. And, we take ages 4 up until they can be there in extended foster care. And it's a small home, and it's run kind of family style, like it's not locked down or anything, like it's operated like a home. And then we also have a program called Stay in Community that is for youth that have been in foster care and that are either, aging out of foster care. So we help them with school, get a car, get a job, also with leadership development. And so it's kind of cool because we actually have 2 staff now that are hired and in leadership roles, and who will in fact take over, who have lived foster care experience.
Okay.
And we're a program.
Do you help them, like if they want to go on to say like OIC, a trade school or a college?
We can help get them in. We don't have money to pay for their tuition, but we can help get them into school and then help them find that money to pay for their tuition. We have a limited number of we're in the voucher program for rent, but that money goes fast and quick. So we're always looking for resources for a lot of those kids might couch surf and that and whatnot. And then our final program area is our Healing Spirit program, or not Healing Spirit, excuse me, Strengthening Family Circles, that umbrella. And underneath that, like that's really where we've kind of exploded in growth. We have about 43 trained doulas. So we have a Ninde My Heart doula program, and we will provide
How many doulas?
43 trained doulas. So they're certified and they're trained and they work with, pregnant moms. And so that's huge program. And then we have a lot of home visitors. So we have parenting capacity services, and those are families that have are referred to us because of child protection referrals, and that staff works really hard to reunify or make sure the family stays together. And then we have a program called Family Spirit, which is developed by John Hopkins and then piloted in the Native community. That's also for young families. And then we're part of the Birth Justice Collaborative. So we have a pilot through that, which is, it's really exciting news. So those, we have 2 doula home visitors. So they're both a doula and a home visitor going into homes. And so we're partners in that collaborative with the Cultural Wellness Center. So the Birth Justice Collaborative is a collaborative of the American Indian community and the African American community. So it's Division of Indian Work, Minnesota Indian Women's Resource Center, Native American Community Clinic, Cultural Wellness Center, Northside Healing Center, and UROC.
Oh, UROC.
You can, that's over on the north side. Mm-hmm.
Right, I was like, I've heard that name.
You've probably driven by it. Yeah.
Yeah. And, in fact, UROC used to be Lucille's Kitchen. I used to work there, but anyway.
Yeah, I remember. I worked for 5 years at Lincoln Beacon Boys and Girls Club. So that was on 12th and Penn, Lincoln School.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. So we had a Boys and Girls Club after school there. So, but I don't even think that school's open anymore now.
No, it's a charter now, and it's a shame that in fact it's a charter. A lot of our schools on the north side closed, but they finally got Franklin reopened, which used to be, still is now, a feeder school for North High, who just had over a $26 million upgrade.
Nice.
So North High doesn't look like the old North High anymore. But anyway,
I have to interject this, but I went to Franklin Junior High a long, long time ago, and I went to some other schools on the near north side too.
Wow. But this is crazy. I was born in Minnesota. And I was born in 65 down at, my mom said it was called Hennepin General Hospital. So that was
General Hospital, yeah.
And then, so I lived there, and I lived over north until we moved to Philadelphia back in 74. I came back to Minnesota after my mom died. So I've been here ever since.
Great.
Well, we all have deep Minneapolis roots.
Yes.
Definitely.
My brother was over north for a long time, so yeah.
But we also have, we participate in the work experience program with MILAC. So we have primarily in our food shelf, like folks that are just kind of learning. That's exactly what it sounds like. It's WEX workers. That's also at DAW. And we're involved in a lot of different projects like the Birth Justice Collaborative, and you can go to the website and get all that information. That's been around for a couple of years. We were the second Native agency to join. So it's just really amazing collaborative. So, and then another thing that we are a part of as part of that collaborative is looking at establishing the American Indian Birthing Center in Minneapolis.
Birding, like flying in the sky, birds? Birthing. Okay.
Having your babies, I don't know if it would be associated with the clinic or, there's Dakota people, they're like, it should be down by the river. I mean, it's just the very beginning or like community input stage.
Yeah.
We got some money to do some planning on it. Our Cal did the collaborative. So we'll see. And we have, we're in the planning stages for property we have next door, the Ampa Wash Day House that's been closed. It used to be transitional housing for teen moms, and it's been closed for about 3 years now because it's a money pit. It's literally falling apart. So, so it'll be torn down, but what happens after that, I don't know.
Mhm.
We're trying to figure it out.
So Lynn, have you driven by the DIW building in South Minneapolis? Do you know where it's at?
I do not. Right now I'm not driving. I had total knee replacement back on the 12th. So I'm gonna be trying to drive come Saturday because that's tomorrow. I don't even know. My days are all mixed up. But no, where is the No, I don't know because I don't go over south because I get lost. I'm gonna be honest with you, I get lost with GPS. Please don't laugh.
I'm going to pull up the Division of Indian Works website and share it. And why don't you talk about the building, Louise, or even the history while I pull it up?
Because you said it started in the 50s as a food shelf?
Yes, that's how it was established. So in the 50s, the policy for Native people, out of one of many, there's always been a lot of policies to try to solve the Indian problem, quote unquote. And at that time, it was to encourage Native people, to incentivize them to move off of the reservations into urban places. So like Minneapolis, California, Chicago, with the promise of jobs and whatnot. And of course, a lot of that stuff did not materialize. And so we were started to just address the hunger needs. And then it just grew from there. So our building was originally a couple blocks from here. And then this building was built in 1992, 93. So it's designed by a Native architect, Dennis Sunroads, and built with a lot of BIPOC everything, the ironwork that was done here was by a Native company, like all the fencing and stuff. But so, yeah, here you can see upcoming events. But the building is right across from where Sears was, the Global Market.
I'm looking for a picture of the building and I can't find it.
Yeah, if you can share the screen, I can pull one up.
Oh, well, I'll share the screen. I'll stop sharing my own screen and allow you to share. Okay, you have permission.
Okay, I'm looking for pictures right now.
Okay, it's a beautiful building, and you don't have to, go there to see it, but there's a lot of information on the website too. And Lynn, perhaps you are getting some idea on how you want to focus your paper, and I can help you with that. And I was on their board a number of years ago, and I wrote a historical paper about the DIW organization, and I'm going to share that with the students. So there's resources out there, and of course you'll have a focus on whether it be I don't know, after school programs or maybe something else you're interested in. So
yeah, I have an idea. I know it either focus on the children, the youth services, or the missing. Now I need to have that title again because you said
missing and murdered Indigenous women.
Yes,
murdered and missing Indigenous women.
Indigenous, okay.
I think you're still looking for a picture, aren't you, Louise?
Yeah, but I have one, but I don't know why it's not.
Yeah. So while you're looking, so Louise, you were saying that the young people, the young women you work with are involved with the MMIW movement.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, and so this you can see we have boarded up here. This was right after George Floyd was murdered. And so we just boarded up here. But we have Native motifs like turtles here. There's fish. And on the side of our building, we,
So the building is beautiful and has a lot of symbols in it as well as inside of it.
Mhm.
And there's only so much space, Louise. You say you have all these employees, and are you filling up the whole building, or where are you?
Totally full, totally full. Do you see this? This is the side of the
Yeah.
building. So this is, you can see again, turtles, dragonflies, fish. And so then this mural is done by City Mischief because, you know, we'd been thinking about doing a mural for a while because it's a graffiti deterrent. And I think they're really pretty. So after, after, you know, the uprising after George Floyd was murdered and, you know, people were coming in and I mean, they were coming in from all over and, you know, we had protectors in the front, protecting the building. So everything around us burned, but we did not. So this is a thank you. This is Piganini and Ho Chunk Miigwech and Pidama Yaya for the Dakota people because they came here and they were here for like 3-4 nights in the parking lot. Now we didn't really have anything that people wanted, but it was just so destructive. I mean, when I'm standing in the parking lot watching 3 black sedans with tinted windows and Texas plates drive by, I am like, they are not here to mourn George Floyd. They are here to cause trouble. And that's totally what they did. That's my thing. I mean, I was here, you know, and we saw what happened. So anyway, this is our thank you in our building. So we have, you know, a backyard. We have a sculpture back there that, let's see if we pull up and then, yeah, it's just a beautiful, beautiful, just trying, I have a lot of good pictures. So,
Just finding them.
just finding which ones are good, but you know, so yeah, it's a beautiful building and we've worked really hard to take care of it, with a lot of, I'll just stop sharing. Yeah, just a really beautiful, beautiful building.
Mhm.
Okay.
And Lynn, you might have noticed that on the website, all the program areas are described in more detail, and there's a lot of photographs, so you can get a lot of information off the website. So
Yes. I was on there because I'll be honest, because I've been kind of focused on my leg and doing physical therapy. I didn't see the emails until today. I'm like starting to get back into it. And then I was like, oh my gosh, there's a so I said there's a Zoom. And so I jumped on and I was trying to find it, but I got it and I'm glad I'm here. I'm the only one. So I kind of feel special. I do, and nervous because I don't know what to ask because I'm still trying to navigate Dr. Danforth. I'm still trying to navigate the website.
mm-hmm. Okay.
It took me 2 days, yesterday and today, to upload your quiz.
Okay.
But somebody from IT helped me, so I did it. I did the test, and I figured it. We figured it out. So you got it. So I'm
glad you're reaching out for support, and you can certainly reach out to me too.
Okay. So yeah, but
and
anyway,
perhaps even Louise, if you have since you're the only one here, you have special. Special.
Thank you. I was so, because I haven't been. I'm gonna be honest. When I graduated when I received my associate's degree, that was back in 1990. I haven't been in school since.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're pretty typical for Metro State students, so don't feel too alone. There's a lot of adult students who are returning to education.
Right. Okay. I was like, am I the only one? And I had my twins who just graduated high school and they're in college. And I'm like, Makai, please help your mom. And, you know, they, in school, that's all they do is go online. And they were like, I'm like, oh, thank you.
Yeah, they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes me feel so old. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm doing on this computer. So,
well, you're doing great. So, do you have any other questions for Louise? I mean,
I don't.
Time, but...
Wow. You do have a lot of programs, and there's a lot going on. the healing spirit. You said there's a boys program. What is there? Is there anything for the females?
No, we don't have the females would be in that state program, but we don't have a home for the females,
Okay.
just for males. I think from my understanding, it's just more of a demand for boys. There's more opportunities for girls. But yeah, we just have our boys home. It's really slow or small. And frankly, it's really difficult.
It's what?
It's very difficult to run a foster care home. So I can see why a lot of people aren't doing it, because it's very expensive, because you're staffing it 24/7. And right now too, with staffing shortages that everybody's dealing with, we pay a lot of overtime because we don't have a lot of staff, so we have staff that are working a lot. So that's just one reason. It's really hard. And the past few years we've had the house that's operated in a deficit. So we're
how many boys are there?
4.
So
We can have 5 if they give a waiver, but that's usually if it's a sibling, because they have to share a room and whatnot. So, but we have 4. But for last year we only had 2, so we're really in the hole.
yeah.
Do you now, because I spoke about my twins. Me and my husband, it was 10 years that we adopted through Hennepin County foster care. And so the kids or the boys that are there, are they through Hennepin County or no?
Mostly Hennepin County, some are Ramsey County, and some are through the tribes.
Okay.
But mostly Hennepin County.
Okay. And they're not able to, well, no, because it's hard.
Yeah, I mean, they should be giving us referrals. I think, a lot has changed. They do, but I think a big impact on all of our services here is at Hennepin County is they're all working from home. So I think that impacts their ability to be out in community and know what's out there for people. They're not even, I've seen that across the board. So we're always trying to host, like when they do have an in-person staff meeting, we've hosted them. We'll have meet and greets, just coffee and stuff, just so they know like all the services that we have for Native people here, and they're all free. And they're all, almost all of them are, implemented by Native staff or strong non-Native allies. And, so we're out, and plus they've had a huge churn and a huge turnover in staff. And like a lot of us, like that's probably my biggest challenge is staffing right now. I'm constantly looking at doing budget modifications because we're underspending in salary. Because in a lot of our contracts, because staff come and go. Like I've been here 22 years and it's not like that right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, there's just no loyalty. I've been at my job at Minneapolis Public Schools going on 24 years. And the way the younger people just like, they don't like the pay or whatever, they leave. And it's not always, I'm not in this to get rich. I know I'm not going to get rich. If I wanted to be rich, I would be doing something different. It's about being called to that duty to what I do. Because I also teach children's ministry at my church, and I've been doing that for 23 years. So, well, actually longer. And it's a call, and I feel, I shouldn't say loyalty, dedication. That's the word. They're not dedicated.
Yeah.
And it's easier to just get up and quit and move on and not realize who they're leaving behind or how it affects the people. So yeah, I don't know.
It's a challenging time. I mean, I'm glad people, they obviously they have a lot of opportunity and choice, but we do lose staff to like Hennepin County and Ramsey County. They're paying better and we don't pay bad. I mean, we're not, again, like I said, we're for profit or nonprofit, so we're not paying for-profit salaries, but we're paying just fine compared to other nonprofits. But we do not have the option for working remote. We're all in person. We did it temporary, and then we called everybody back in. And so I'm pretty clear when we interview, this is a 100% in-person job. And occasionally, yeah, like if it's Mother Nature, now that we have the technology, we can. But it's a little unfair then to like the food shelf staff who had to always be in person, no matter what. They were giving out food the entire pandemic. So I'm just trying to be like, this is an in-person social service agency. And that's the expectation is you're going to be here.
Yeah.
So we've lost staff. They have more options. If that's what works better for them and their family, then I'm not going to stand in their way, but it makes it harder.
It does. It does.
You know, I mean, and I can't stand in their way, but I don't know what to change because we're not going to change. I don't think we should ever change.
No, I mean, doctors and nurses have to be at the hospital. Policemen have to be there. You know, they can't work from home. Can you imagine an ambulance call telling you drive yourself? I'm working from home. That's just crazy.
Yeah, no. So, and I think the thing is when people that last here and stay here a long time, they like that. I didn't like working from home. I like being in the office and I like being around people. And so I can see that to me, it seems, I mean, it's kind of always been this way, but when we have staff, they either maybe last a year, maybe 2, if they're not really into it, but then if not, they're here 10 years, you know, like it just really clicks or not. And that's okay. And they might leave here. It's not that they leave in a bad way or anything, but it's just not their thing. They don't stay very long, but when you stay, you stay. And it is mostly people want, like it was hard on staff to be remote. They wanted to be around. Thank you. Sorry, someone's peeking in my office. But they want to be around people. So it was hard on staff to not be around people, not like, especially the youth programs. That was just crushing.
Yeah.
And we did it. We went back, we stayed home when we had to, and then it was stay safe. Like all of us had to have the COVID-19 preparedness plan. And then, so I know. So,
and now they treat COVID like a cold. It's like, wear a mask if you got it. But other than that, nah, come on to work. And I work in a school. Kids, well, I had a stem cell transplant years ago, back in 2015. And so I had to wear a mask because I couldn't be around anybody for 100 days because my immune system was down. And people were looking at me really weird because I was wearing a mask and they were like, oh, what she got? And it was nothing. I had chemo, but they didn't know that. But now I can wear a mask and nobody cares.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. Now, but yeah, the times have changed. Times have definitely changed.
Yeah. I'm glad we're on the other side of that. But yeah, when people, and this is my personal opinion, say, oh my gosh, you know, I know it hurt the kids to stay home and they academically, especially our kids. But I'm like, yeah, but if everybody been at the school, our teachers would have died. Like they were older and more vulnerable. I mean, so we had to do it and we did the best we could.
And not only that, we had a lot. We have I know Lainey does. I know Dowling. They have a lot. They have a high student rate of kids who are vulnerable, physically vulnerable. Yeah. So they needed to be home. So it was good for our kids to be home. Do I see a lot of deficits, academic deficits from our kids being home? Yes, I do. I mean, we have kids who are in 3rd grade who cannot hold a pencil correctly because they were the ones that were at home and they learned at home in kindergarten. In kindergarten and 1st grade, it's a hands-on, how to write a letter correctly. And there's just a lot of hands-on that they missed out on and they couldn't get because they were on computer. So yeah, as an educator, I see that a lot and it's heartbreaking. You know, I'm upstairs now. I was with 2nd grade for 4 years, but now I'm with the older kids, our 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders. And some kids are still behind. And I don't know if they'll ever catch up.
Yeah, that's pretty tough.
Yeah, COVID did a number on us, but I mean, I believe they'll catch up, but it'll be a while.
Yeah,
It'll be a while.
I agree.
So,
So
for the,
Louise, thank you for your time,
yeah,
unless there's more to say.
Oh,
no,
I'm
the
happy to be here, and yeah,
Okay,
good to see you. And
I'll share the recording with the other students in the class and hopefully they'll catch up.
yeah, because I would like to hear the recording again myself, so I can just listen to it, and that's why this is one reason why I like doing the class, because I can listen, like the videos, I can stop, take notes, and it's a little
Sure.
slow it down for myself. So I
Sure.
appreciate that.
And Lynn, if you ever want to meet with me individually about anything in the class, just say the word and we'll do a Zoom.
Okay, I will. I was like, I don't know, because I'm trying to do this. I'm like, I don't know why I feel I have to do this on my own. But
Well, this
anyway.
used to be an in-person class and I really am sorry that they chose to make it online. There's
Oh
a
no,
lot
it's fine.
missing.
I appreciate it, because I
Yeah.
wouldn't have been able to be in class for 3 weeks.
Okay,
I couldn't drive. So no, this is
sure.
fine.
This is
I
fine.
just got
Okay,
I just got to get my bearings. That's all. Like I
sure.
said, I haven't been in class since 1990, and it's like,
Yeah.
so. But
Uh,
anyway.
Like those kids you talked about, you'll catch up. So,
Exactly,
yeah.
exactly. But I do want to say something, Dr. Danforth. In one of the videos, I saw my cousins, and I knew him too, Larry Leventhal.
Oh,
oh,
okay.
Huh?
Larry
I saw,
Leventhal.
yeah, I saw him in a video, and I was like, oh my gosh. And I stopped the video. I think it was with the sovereignty.
Right. Yeah.
So he was my cousin DeGalen's dad. So I knew Larry, and I was like, oh my gosh. And when I called my Aunt Lynn, and she was like, oh yeah, and she started naming all the stuff that he did. I was like, really? I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yeah,
So
I knew him pretty. He was the lawyer for Bedote Learning Center, and I actually just was out at Camp Tico. It's Temple Israel's camp out in Minnetonka, and they did a bench honoring him this summer.
oh, really?
They
Yeah.
did.
So
So if you ever wanted, yeah, Temple Israel, it's out on Lake Minnetonka, beautiful camp, and they dedicated a bench to him.
Nice.
oh,
It's a
that's
small world. I
awesome.
love Larry.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was hard to see him and DeGalen, because I'm actually named after DeGalen's Aunt Lynn. So I'm not going to tell you my nickname. I just won't.
We all have them.
But anyway, yeah, it was hard to both go. But anyway, thank you,
Yeah.
Matt, for taking your time.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Louise.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right, bye. All right. I don't. Oh, tomorrow I'm going to. Me and my kids, we're gonna work, and my husband, it's a family thing because I gotta take my scooter. We're gonna go to the Indian Mounds Park.
Oh,
I
sure.
think.
Near Metro State and yeah, Indian Mountains. Yeah.
Okay.
And there's some good signage there. And if you go to this website through the Minnesota Humanities Center, I probably linked it somewhere. It's the Bedote memory map.
Yeah. Okay.
I can send the link. Otherwise, maybe if you want to find it, BDOTE memory map.
BE.
No, BD as in dog. BDOTE.
Memory map. Okay.
Yeah. That would be a really good place to start. If you just poke around there, you'll find information about that. And of course,
Okay.
just look on Wikipedia. It's not the best source, but I'll accept it. And it's good, not a great big assignment, but it's good that you're starting it.
Right. Well, I'm trying to like I said, I the first two discussions, I was like, I don't know what she wants, but I did it. It may have not been, yeah, I'm doing the best I can. So I was just happy to get the quiz up.
Sure.
And so I'm getting ready to finish discussion 3 and then do number 4.
Okay, good.
And but like I said, I'm going to be going
Okay.
'Cause like I
And
said, I'm on my scooter and it's hard to walk.
And I just made a note to myself to send out an example of the Indigenous Sites PowerPoint that I created for an example.
Okay.
So
All right.
I'll send that out today or tomorrow for sure. I
Okay.
just
Well,
made a
thank
note to myself. Okay, well, you're doing the work, and glad you showed up today. And
Well, thank you.
I'm going to, like I said, save this to the cloud, and then by tonight or tomorrow, I'll send the link out to everybody in the class.
Okay. All right.
And
Well, thank you.
sure, I'm glad your daughters are there to help, and that you've also called the IT center. So,
Yes. All right.
okay, have a good
Okay. So
night.
you have a good weekend too. Yep. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye. Okay. Stop recording. Okay.